So in my review of the second Kokoro Connect novel, I kept finding myself going into spoiler territory, so I'm writing this for those that have already read the story or need more convincing that this book is fantastic and worth a read. Let's start from the beginning. In my review, I stated that Inaba is the main focus of the novel, so I am mainly going to be focusing on her. As such, I've decided that I will format this spoiler discussion in the chronology of comparing Inaba's characterization in the first book to the second book, Inaba's character arc summarized with my thoughts along the way, and some extras to end off with. Let's begin. What I find fantastic in this book is Inaba. Again, I say this referring to how she is written and handled in this volume, and not how much I want to marry her. As established in the first book, Inaba's main fear is that she will be exposed in some way, forcing her to leave the club and be abandoned by her friends that mean the world to her. In the first book, she was afraid she would be exposed as a bad person for being unable to completely trust anyone during the body swap. When Taichi convinced her to talk it out with the others despite her fears, she realized that it was not as big a deal as she had thought it to be. It should also be mentioned that while it was pretty obvious that Inaba had a crush on Taichi in the first volume with some of her remarks, the last chapter of the first book and also masturbation, it was only ever hinted at as a full in love. In this book, these ideas are expanded upon. Inaba is given entire sections of prose written in first person from her perspective. It helps the audience understand just what she is going through and explains that the club is like one of her first ever friend groups, which is why she is so scared of losing them. And rather than being afraid of being exposed for something like distrust, Inaba now has a more solid fear that she will be exposed as a fraud. But there is another secret that Inaba must hide. The secret is pretty obviously the fact that she likes Taichi. In this book, her infatuation with him is made more clear, which is only to be expected given that it's a volume about her with some narration by her. But the bottom line is that Inaba is unable to constantly keep up her prickly leader persona. That's just an act for her, the face she puts on at school and especially in front of the Culture Research Club. She believes that she will not be of value to the club and hence be rejected if she does not work or offer some function to the club. She also makes it clear in the beginning of the book that she believes that humans are meant to hurt each other. Not only is this really upsetting to learn straight from her own words, but at one point Taichi is liberated into telling Inaba that he's disappointed in her for abandoning Kiriyama, who is holed up in her room while Inaba was really just trying to keep her distance because she ended up hurting Kiriyama's feelings during a very harsh liberation. Taichi's words break the exterior that Inaba has been holding on to until that moment and she runs away crying, Taichi left unable to do anything to apologize. And how could he? Those were his true feelings. After an impeccable scene where the rest of the CRC is broken up that really shocked me, Taichi himself is faced with the exact same predicament that Inaba had been faced with when he broke her. Taichi is afraid to rekindle the bonds between him and his friends because he is afraid he will only make everything worse. This reflection is not even stated in the text. It's a subtle but still noticeable quirk of the writing that I really appreciate, and this also happens again later. This is where my one and only real gripe in this volume related to Inaba is. The situation between Inaba and Taichi is kinda dropped after the montage of Taichi spending days doing nothing. While I do think it's realistic for this kind of thing to heal with time, which is mentioned in the book, it just rubs me the wrong way that there was no apology during their next meeting. It just felt a bit wrong to me. So their next meeting is where the second half of the book takes the characters, a field trip. There's a hike and the students have to cook some stuff. In hindsight, the field trip itself must have been pretty boring to the extras. Just a joke. The main events of the field trip were what happened in trying to get Inaba, the only character left that hadn't returned to the club, back. The characters interacted and there were some cute moments with Inaba getting liberated over her jealousy that Taichi complimented Nagase's skills with cooking utensils and poked fun at hers. But the real kicker that blew my mind was when Taichi touched Inaba's hand, more specifically a finger that had a hangnail, and she got a liberation that was censored, causing her to make out with her finger. Yeah. She did this in front of Nagase, who asked her if she was in love with Taichi. At the fear of being figured out and making the club dynamic awkward and fall apart, Inaba runs away from the campsite until she loses her breath and breaks down. Nagase has been on her tail the entire time, Inaba not being the athletic type, and Nagase has a heart-to-heart with Inaba. Nagase, a total badass, assures Inaba that everything will be fine with her love for Taichi, and even if Inaba steals Taichi from her. Nagase tells Inaba that breaking down over something so trivial isn't the Inaba she knows. Inaba tries to say Nagase doesn't know the real her, but Nagase, who has identity problems, snaps back by telling her that it doesn't matter because she loves her for every little thing. It's an amazingly powerful scene, and when I saw the accompanying illustration, my breath was taken away. After the field trip, in a very cute scene, Inaba confesses her love to Taichi. Although he tells her that his heart is with Nagase at the moment, Inaba takes the initiative to make her intentions to steal him away known. After stealing a kiss and leaving him, she promptly scrambles behind one of the other school buildings and screams about how happy and embarrassed she is that she kissed Taichi. In the epilogue, Inaba reflects on what the events in the novel have taught her. She doesn't need to suppress her feelings. Sometimes, just talking it out and being genuine is how you get the best results. She also reflects on how the kindness of others has affected her view on humans, in that she no longer believes humans were meant to harm each other, but to love. Inaba's character arc in this novel is one of the most engaging character arcs I've seen in a novel, especially for a character that isn't the main protagonist of the series. Inaba's arc honestly steals the show in the end, and works so naturally that laying it out like this felt artificial. To experience her character arc the authentic way, you need to buy the book and read it. Inaba's confession at the end floored me, but what got me was the epilogue. It is hands down my favorite epilogue. I actually screenshotted the final paragraphs, and reading them several days later still puts me on the verge of tears. It's very powerful stuff, and on top of that, I feel like everyone can relate to Inaba to some extent. Hiding the truth because you think you could seriously damage something you care about, and in the process, becoming depressed over it. But Inaba gets a good ending where she fixes that problem. It's something I've always needed to see but never knew I needed to see. Somebody overcoming that stupid mindset where they have to bottle things up and instead end up happy with a renewed outlook on life, perfectly capping off this chapter in their life, but still leaving room for the character to progress in future books? Sadanatsu Anda, what devil did you make a pact with to make your second book one of the best ones I've read? As a writer and avid Hyoka quoter, I need to know.